Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
I'm Dr. Sky, and welcome to the Dr. Sky Experience, exclusively here at Talk Radio 77 WABC, out of New York City and around the world, America's #1 talk station. Welcome once again as we discuss the great events that are happening in the skies, from aviation, space, astronomy and weather, and so much more. And don't forget, embedded in the Dr. Sky Experience is our tribute to America, Truth, Justice, and the American Way, with great interviews from newsmakers about American exceptionalism. But here we begin with our particular Dr. Sky episode number 4, an update on what you can see in your skies. This, a most amazing month, November 2022. We begin with the moon, Earth's nearest neighbor. We find out that as November opens, the moon is at its first quarter phase, then moving to a position we call the gibbous phase, meaning it looks humpback or egg-shaped, only to arrive at the beauty of the full moon on the morning hours of November the 8th. But this year, a spectacular lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse for observers in much of North America. For the East Coast, the moon will be in totality just hours before sunrise, but as the further distance you go west, the moon continues to see, or that is, you should be able to see the entire eclipse. And we'll be talking much more about the details in our next week Sky Update here at Talk Radio 77 WABC, out of New York and around the world. If you'd like to get in touch with me, Dr. Sky, email me. It's simple. It's Dr. Sky Show, DRSKY Show at gmail.com. And certainly appreciate the many emails that we do get about these great realms of astronomy, space, aviation, and weather. But big news in the space world this week, Elon Musk has his way. We'll see the next launch of one of the most powerful rockets in the entire world, the next launch of his Falcon Heavy rocket. Scheduled for November the 1st at around 9:40 in the morning, this USSF, United States Space Force rocket, this particular mission will launch a secret spy satellite, among another satellite or two, into orbit. These will be in geosynchronous orbit, which means they'll go directly from the ground out to that position about 22,000 miles away from the Earth. Let's describe this particular rocket, the Falcon Heavy, some 229 feet tall. This particular rocket weighs over 3 million pounds. And did you know that this particular rocket can launch 140,000 pounds to low Earth orbit? That's about the height of the space station. And if it goes to geosynchronous orbit, it can launch 57,000 pounds of payload. And imagine a Mars mission, it could still launch some 37,000 pounds of material out to the red planet, the god of war. A total power on this particular rocket of some 5.5 million pounds of thrust. All that by doing something special. There are 27 Merlin engines on board, which each have the power of 190,000 pounds of thrust, mixing liquid oxygen and something called RP1, a kind of the derivation of kerosene fuel. This particular rocket, if you want to put it in simpler terms, has the power of 18 747s at full power, and it could simply lift a fully loaded 737 aircraft to orbit. This is a spectacular mission, and we wish them well. But for your skies, as you're viewing them, hoping they're clear, of course, beyond the moon, we talk about the planets. And what you should be able to see this week is an array of planets, simply a plethora of planets. Begin your sky viewing by looking high into the south at sunset. With clear skies and no clouds, you'll see the planet Saturn, now about 890 million miles away from your eye, better in a telescope. And yes, you can actually see the beautiful ring system. No doubt about it, the brightest planet in the nighttime sky for now is the planet Jupiter. Easy to see as you look into the eastern sky and high enough. So tell your friends and neighbors that the object that you see, the big white bright object, is not a UFO at all, but it's the largest planet in the entire solar system, that being Jupiter, 88,000 miles in diameter. That's big. It would take 12 Earths to make it up, to make its diameter as in scale size. And the object about 385 million miles away from your eye. Great in a telescope, decent in binoculars. You'll get to see some of those Galilean satellites, the 4 he discovered back in 1610. But folks, the really interesting planet now rising in the northeast, if you stay up right around 10 p.m. with clear skies in the northeast, you'll see the red god of war, Mars. It's encroaching on the Earth. Mars will be closest to the Earth this year on December the 7th, when at a distance of slightly, maybe around 37 million miles or so. Some say upwards of 57 million miles, but the point is, the planet Mars is spectacular in a telescope. Right now, I'm observing it regularly and hope you have the ability to do that. If you do, you're seeing many of the surface features on Mars, and you're also noticing that the northern polar cap, because the northern hemisphere of Mars now is in winter, we're seeing a lot of this blue haze that's like ice crystals in the Martian atmosphere, making that small but visible northern polar cap look even larger. Quite an amazing sight to see in the sky. And don't forget, 2 important events in November. One is the ability to see more of these November fireballs. Why? Fireballs are larger chunks of these meteors that we see coming through the atmosphere. Some so-called shooting stars, but we know from astronomy that's not a shooting star. It's debris from comets' tails. So simply, in the month of November, we get to see a higher number of these larger chunks of comet material streaking through our sky. So if you're out there with a clear sky, dress warmly, of course, and if you have patience, you may get to see a few very bright fireballs, maybe even brighter than Venus. We call it the November fireball season. And then on the early morning hours of November the 19th, we'll have more to say about that next week and weeks to come, is the annual Leonid meteor shower, one of the better meteor showers of the year. And of course, you have to gauge where the moon is so the moonlight doesn't interfere, but I just wanted to mention it on the calendar. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to me, Dr. Sky, with the Dr. Sky Experience, here exclusively at Talk Radio 77 WABC out of New York City and around the world. Check us again with our Dr. Sky blog at WABCradio.com. And we thank you so much for listening to this particular podcast. Your questions, comments, and suggestions always welcome at drsky@gmail.com. Dr. Sky simply reminds you to always remember to keep your eyes to the skies. I'm your navigator on the highway to the heavens. And don't forget, during the early morning hours of November the 8th, we get to see the next of a total lunar eclipse. Not since the May 15th that we had one. This is a second eclipse for this year. And interestingly enough, it happens and coincides with just hours before in-person voting for the great election of 2022 on the day of November the 8th. Hasn't happened in history in America, at least as far as we can check. Obviously, the coincidence of Election Day and a total lunar eclipse, quite interesting. Until next week, clear skies, health, and happiness.